Long Islanders are trying to beat the dangerous heat while extreme heat warning is in effect through tomorrow. You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. So how bad is it going to get? Well, let's get some answers from Rich Von Olin.
Hey, it's Newsday TV meteorologist Rich Von Olin with an update on the extreme heat across the island. So we did set a record high on Monday of 93 degrees at Islip MacArthur Airport, and it looks like we got a good chance of doing it again for Tuesday and Wednesday, 96, 92 the records respectively, and the forecast is calling for higher temperatures than that. The last time we had 100 degrees was back on July 22nd, 2011. Only did it 7 times in the history of the Weather Service keeping those records, and there is an opportunity to see that at Islip MacArthur Airport on Tuesday with this extreme heat. So extreme heat warning now extended from central western Suffolk into Nassau County, heat advisory across the east end, all due to this heat dome we've been talking about for about a week now, and it's set up just perfectly. It's a big ridge, big area of high pressure just sitting across the central Ohio Valley. When you're on the east side, you get more of a west-northwesterly component, kind of knocks down or negates the sea breeze, and that means the entire tri-state and the Long Island can be subject to getting extreme temperatures in the low to mid to maybe some upper 90s. Look at the numbers here. Tuesday morning, 9, 10, 11 a.m., already some low to mid to some upper 90s by midday afternoon. And that's going to feel pretty intense compared to what we usually see around here. The heat index combined with the humidity will make it feel like lower 100s, west to east, all the way out to Riverhead and the Twin Forks. It's just going to be a day that we haven't seen in about 15 years, with probably some records being set across the island. After that, Wednesday's hot but not as stifling, and then after that into the first week of July, Climate Center saying it's probably going to be normal, more in the 80s. That's what you should be seeing this time of year. But 98, kind of unusual. Tuesday, it's going to be one of the hottest days we've seen in about 10 or 15 years, breaking some records. With the humidity, it feels hotter. Still hot Wednesday, not as stifling, but still 93. And look at the 70s. We cool back down. Big change for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with some scattered showers passing storms. But until then, we've got a pretty intense day of heat coming up for Tuesday, so just be safe and stay tuned to Newsday TV for updates throughout the week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
Nassau County officials are urging parents to take extra precautions in the extreme heat, especially with pools. They say parents should designate a lifeguard for pool parties. The county executive also said Nassau's athletic coaches have been given guidelines on determining when outside practices should be canceled. He urged them to use common sense.
If it's too hot, definitely delay your practice to another day. Practice after the sun goes down. Just be smart. You know, heat stroke is not just for the elderly. Heat stroke can happen to kids. It's happened before.
Now, the briefing was part of the county's summer safety program. And only in Newsday, a Brentwood mother has been given an emergency stay of deportation. 30-year-old Nuvia Yesenia Martinez Ventura will not be immediately deported from an ICE facility in Houston. She can remain in the U.S. while a motion to reopen her political asylum case is considered. Ventura, a mother of 5, was arrested by ICE on June 11th. And overseas, Iran launched missile attacks on an American military base in Qatar. Now, the move is in retaliation for the American bombing of Iran's nuclear sites. Iran said it launched 19 missiles, the same number used by the U.S. in its attack on Iran. One of the missiles hit the base, but no casualties were reported. And a Suffolk police officer was formally charged with driving while intoxicated in connection with a crash that seriously injured a man. 30-year-old Alexander Vargas was suspended without pay after the crash in Huntington early Sunday morning. He was off duty at the time. Now, police say Jorge Alfaro was crossing New York Avenue when he was struck by Vargas's Chevy Camaro. Alfaro is in critical condition but stable condition at Huntington Hospital. And a big day for hundreds of graduates of the United States Merchant Marine Academy. 207 officers graduated in a formal ceremony at Kings Point today. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy delivered the keynote address. Now the graduates will move on to the Navy, Army, Marine Corps, and Air Force Reserves.
Only in Newsday, there are over 50,000 unlicensed drivers on Long Island who are more likely to be involved in deadly crashes. What can be done to keep you safe? Dangerous roads, unlicensed drivers. Now available at Newsday.com.
Long Island leads the state when it comes to high-earning locals. Newsday's Nassau County politics reporter Bahar Astadan breaks it down.
There's a small group of Nassau County employees that make more than $300,000 a year. Now, that group of people has almost doubled last year. In Suffolk, something similar happened the year before, and really this increase is driven by correction officers and some police lieutenants who are working more and more overtime. Pay increases are happening because they're understaffed. Both jails said that we were 100 correction officers short from what we need to run the jails. Now, the other reason for some pay increases is termination pay. So employees who retire or quit or were fired last year got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in termination pay each. One researcher we interviewed talked about how, politicians gain power in part by securing some of these beneficial union contracts. So that helps, in essence, keep some of these pay structures intact and keeps pay increasing year over year, keeps overtime increasing year over year. And, taxpayers should know where their money's going.
At the entrance to Lloyd and Huntington harbors stands a Venetian Renaissance-style beacon, shining a light on Long Island's maritime history. And this summer, you can visit the Huntington Harbor Lighthouse, a rarity for offshore lighthouses.
There's many offshore lighthouses, but they're not able to take people actually out to visit the lighthouse, to go inside and see, touch, and feel it.
Guided tours are starting once again at the 113-year-old lighthouse on the harbor.
Welcome to the lighthouse. I'm so happy you guys are all here.
The castle on the bay, as some call it, was a manned lighthouse for much of its life. But automation took over, and then the dilapidated lighthouse was slated to be torn down by the Coast Guard, replaced with a light and horn on a metal tower. That was until volunteers in 1985 sounded the alarm and saved the historic lighthouse from the wrecking ball. Millions of dollars later, the lighthouse still stands, telling the story of the dedicated lightkeepers who safely guided ships on Long Island Sound, now guarded by a family of osprey.
It's fantastic, and I think Long Island forgets its history.
Mike Kowalski and Cynthia Flame from Stony Brook have toured several other lighthouses, but this one, they say, stands apart since it's an actual Coast Guard navigational aid and is an offshore museum.
It was a great view. It's a unique place to look out on the various bodies of water.
Of course, a lot more work has to be done on the lighthouse here, and these tours are one way the Preservation Society can raise funds for that restoration. So they say this lighthouse can last another 100 years.
These are our castles, so we would be out of our minds to let them go because it's important they tell a story. And there's a lot of stories attached to them. Every lighthouse has a story.
In Huntington, Andrew Enger, Newsday TV.
It's surreal because I genuinely enjoy it. That's the fun thing.
This is Wheatley Heights native Jordan Simpson, and you may recognize him from his viral Mets jingles.
Score, we're in the second with some nice clutch hitting.
Combining his two passions, making music and the New York Mets, has created a unique online community.
I can try to find a way to combine music and the Mets, but I didn't know how. And then on opening day of 2023, I was like, you know what? I just did a random video of me doing a remix of the SNY Mets theme song when the games come on. And then that blew up. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. I realized very quickly that was going to be a mainstay.
And in this room, this is where the magic happens. Old office space turned music room and New York Mets shrine. It's here where Simpson spends hours on end recapping each Mets series through song.
Then once you kind of figure out a song that I want to do, then it's a matter of writing then the lyrics. Then I have to actually learn how to play the song, then reproducing it from scratch. And once that's done, then you record it, you video it, and then put the video together and you try to get it out as soon as you can.
It's not just the process he loves. It's the connections and the positive feedback he's received along the way.
It's fun to for one, just to build relationships with people in the Mets world, because I'm a diehard Mets fan, so it's cool to get to know people that are there that I've been fans of, and then for me to go to games and get recognized and take pictures, even not at games, it happens out at the mall, at restaurants, at concerts, it just happens all the time, and it means a lot. I don't want to stop, but I want to, I just want to keep doing it. Yes, there's a part of me that shoots big, but at the same time, I'm also very grounded in the fact that I'm just also grateful for just how this has been going so far.
Jolie Katzen, Newsday TV.
You're watching Newsday TV. For more on all the stories you've seen here today, head over to newsday.com. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us.